Few things go together better than making a cabinet and a table saw. You can use a table saw to slice up the plywood, as everyone knows. But did you know that you can make a raised panel door simply using this single tool? I'm going to show you how. There are three things that are unavoidable in life: death, taxes, and wood movement. And wood movement is the whole reason for the frame and panel construction technique that was developed. Here, we're going to use the table saw to make the stiles and the rails, and also same machining techniques to make the face frame. Now for the stiles and most of the rails, I'm going to plow a groove that runs all along their inside edge. Now, you might wonder with these face frame stiles, particularly why I plowed the entire length. Well, it's easier than just making stopped grooves. And the other reason is that once I have the rails glued in place, I can just fill the gap with this little skinny piece of wood. Once it's glued and painted, you'll never notice it. When you're using a saw stop table saw and you change to a dado head, you need to remove the standard saw brake and replace it with one that's matched to the dado head. Just takes a minute, super easy to do. Plowing the grooves just takes a minute or two, and then it's on to forming the tenons. Now the width of the tenon is exactly the same as the width of the groove, but the length of the tenon, in order to accommodate a little extra glue, is a little bit shorter than the depth of the groove. Now I'm going to set up the crosscut sled with a stop block in order to form the shape of the tenon. I'm going to use it down here and just nibble away until we got it right. As you can see, the grooves, and for that reason the tenons, are not centered on the stiles and rails. To complete the tenons, reset the height of the blade and cut the other side of the tenons. Raising the field on your door panel is easier than it might appear. First, of course, you glue up your panel, and now that you've got your stiles and rails cut to size, you can cut the panel to its final dimensions, leaving room for wood movement. Setting up the angle is again a process that should be tested on scrap lumber. One point to make at this time is that saw stops are safest with saw blades that do not have anti-kickback shoulders. Those shoulders can slow down the emergency braking process. These cuts are actually pretty manageable, but this feather board, the one that's lifted up pretty high from the table, helps to keep your piece vertical and makes it a more manageable cut. I prefer to cut the angles on the end grain first. And then cut the long grain. The last bit of machining for the door is a small rabbet to complete the fit within the stile and rail grooves that you plowed earlier. So that's about it. As you can see, I've got some sanding to do, and then move on to assembling the door. Nice technique, don't you think? One of the things that always surprises and pleases me about this technique is how well and square everything fits together. So as you can see here, the drawer front is made exactly the same way as we made the raised panel door. And it's done 100% on the table saw, the most versatile tool in the shop. I hope you found this video interesting and that you might have learned a couple of tips. I'm Rob Johnstone from Woodworker's Journal. Keep on making sawdust.